Hey, what's up? This is Fit Outside the Box. My name is Carla, and you guys, I haven't gone live in so long that I don't remember all the things. There's like some different stuff in there that you have to select. But anyways, I'm going to be doing some lunch and learns, and as we get closer to the holidays, which is literally like next week, we'll do some more topics per week to help you guys stay consistent and also think about exercise a little bit differently. One of the biggest things that really bothers me in the fitness industry is that we really get stuck around the idea of thinking of exercise as just a way to lose weight and affect the outside, when exercise is definitely something that way more affects internally. And then a lot of times the benefits, of course, just like in everything else, show on the outside. That just means that when you're working out and you're doing your step class, right? And you're doing you're remembering the L step and you're putting these things together. You're doing it on the right side of your body. You're doing it on the left side of your body, and you're making these connections. Your brain is working. But it doesn't even have to be as fun as a step class. You could be literally running outside, and the way it affects our body and brain is in such a way that you get all of these benefits, right? You get all of these connections, not just the mind body connection, but our body makes all of these little tiny connections that basically helps us to, one of the main things is keeps our brain active and it keeps our brain young. And I remember when I first started to realize that, I thought that it was just one of these things that was just amazing. It's just amazing what exercise does for our brain and the aging process. The aging process is something that, of course, everybody has. Babies come out of the womb having to age, right? We can't really do anything to stop that. But exercise, more and more research comes out to show how huge exercise is in negating the aging process and helps our body to not only hang on to muscle, but also in our brain, it helps us to continue to make those connections, continue to repair things so we hang on to a lot of our cognitive abilities that we typically have when we're younger, right? So longer, better memory, which is number two. You want to improve your memory. You want to improve your ability to learn faster and improve your ability to have clear focus and just clarity of mind. Exercise is huge in doing that, because when we go back and we look at it, all of those tiny connections that our brain makes while we're exercising helps it to actually, the same way you preserve like food in the refrigerator, almost has that same capacity to just like hang on to those abilities because we're using them constantly while we're moving our bodies. Our bodies and our brains are really meant for activity, because for so many years and years of humans being on the planet, we had to move in order to survive, and our brain is still wired for that. And we take advantage of that every time we exercise. So remember, the very first one was just around anti-aging. You want to age slower, then you got to use your brain. You guys, as you're hopping on, drop me a comment. Haven't been on live in so long that I don't know, it's almost weird being on live again. But and then number two, you want to learn faster, remember stuff, keep your concentration, your focus. There it is. Like, exercise is always constantly helping us do that. So it's always really interesting too, when people comment on that and they say like, oh, well, you remember all of that stuff without your notes. And it's like, not only have I been conditioned to do that, but because I've been doing it for so long, but exercise helps us to retain our memory. All of those tiny connections, constantly using them, reusing them, repairing them, is so good for our brain, so good for our memory and concentration and focus, that no, I don't really need notes, you guys. None of those workouts, I might have them close by, but I typically will never even need to look at my notes or to remember a combination or anything. I'm not bragging. You can have that same thing too. It just comes from exercise. You probably already noticed it in your life. A couple weeks ago, I was eating lunch with someone and they were like, "You have a big brain." And I was like, "Oh, you know how you get a compliment and you're like, I don't know how to take that, like if that's good." So I went and I Googled it. And brain size, when I Googled it, I found out brain size actually does have a direct correlation to intelligence. But there's something more indicative to a high level of intelligence besides just brain size. And that happens to be our brain's ability to make connections. And I found that so interesting because, of course, that's what we're doing when we're exercising. We're making that mind-body connection, and we're making all these little tiny connections in movement that just allows us to exercise. The brain-body connection allows us to exercise, to coordinate, to move. Even if you're putting one foot in front of the other, you're using your body and your brain's ability to connect and do something. And that's huge. And then all of those other tiny little connections that our brain needs in order to function and do exercise. So those two main things are huge and pretty amazing. And number 3, and we'll expound on these other times. I wrote a blog that'll go up under this, and you can just read that below, or you can click the link to go to my blog and see it. But last but not least, I also want to talk about this. So this is an article right out of this Time magazine. I'll link it below too because it's so good. It talks about exercise. Recent research links exercise to less depression, better memory, and quicker learning. And I want to talk about the depression piece because as it gets colder in a lot of areas, it's really easy to be prone to feel depressed because there's less sunlight, you stay in the house more. Typically, people are just a little more isolated when it comes to the colder months and it comes to the winter time. So if you want to negate that natural process that we kind of go through during the winter months of feeling a little more depressed, a little bit more blue, less sunlight, all of that stuff, then exercise is a really good way to make sure you keep your mood high. Exercise, and you've probably experienced this, is just a natural mood booster. I usually feel so good after exercise, right? Yay! I'm so glad that you're enjoying this, 3T lover. So this topic to me makes exercise so much more fun, you guys, and it's so refreshing to even hop on the scene and talk about something that just is it's so needed. We should talk about the fact that exercise has so many more benefits than just keeping us looking good. Of course, everybody likes to look good, but let's face it, if we don't have the anti-aging benefits, if we don't have the learning and focus benefits, if we don't have the benefit of warding off depression and keeping our mood high, then we kind of miss out on how rich it is to have exercise in our lives. It's so rich to have exercise in our lives. It's underestimated drastically. I hear people dog exercise all the time, like it's just like putting on a face cream or putting on makeup, when sure, those things are great, but exercise has so many benefits that we literally, people, if they knew, if they had any idea, they probably would not be able to, they would be exercising the same way they make sure they eat breakfast in the morning, the same way they take a shower, because that is just that crucial. It's just that good. But the other day, I taught a cycle class before I had to teach kickboxing, and I was in there and I was feeling so good. You guys, everybody was like, how do you have so much energy? We are dying. And I was like, I don't know. And it was almost like the cycling class gave me more energy to teach the kickboxing class. Like I was just like my mood was on 10. I felt so good. I wasn't tired. And it just comes from that endorphin rush. Exercise actually gives us energy. Exercise actually boosts our mood. It's the thing that makes us feel good. And you can just think about the last time you worked out, how you felt afterwards. You probably felt really good. And I can remember times when I felt horrible and I went to go exercise and it totally changed how I felt. I can remember getting over a breakup and my friend being like, you need to go work out. You need to go to the gym. You need to go take a Zumba class. And then working out and feeling like 100 times better. Exercise, another way that we kind of forget about it is that, again, those neural connections we make with exercise helps to boost our mood, helps us to feel good, helps us to ward off the blues and depression, even in the wintertime when it's darker, longer, we have less connection with people. You still can use exercise as a way to boost your mood and keep your vibe high. It's just that another thing that makes exercise so rich, so amazing, and we don't hear about it, and it's easy to forget about, but guess what? You have exercise in your life, you're 10 times richer than the richest person that doesn't have exercise in their life, because you're basically holding on to your youth, you're holding on to your brain's ability to make those connections and stay focused, keep your concentration high, and also with, like I said, the depression. Warding off depression is huge. And when you start to think about all of those things combined, they're all the brain benefits associated with exercise that nobody ever talks about, but you almost would do better to say, hey, I'm going to exercise in order to optimize my brain functioning. Because when you do that, you don't have this thing like, oh, I'm going to stop after I lose 10 pounds, right? You just keep exercising and you still look good and you still, have all those other benefits aesthetically that go along with exercise, but you just have a higher goal. You just have a smarter goal to increase your brain's functioning that a lot of people just forget about. And it's really funny when people tell me things like, Carly, you're always in a good mood. Or, you like Saturday, they were like, you're not even tired. It's exercise, you guys. It's highly underestimated. And all of this research, every time I read some research article, is just compounded again, how crazy good exercise is for our brain, the anti-aging process, warding off depression, all of those things. So I don't want to keep rambling, but thanks for hopping on. If there's a topic you want me to cover around exercise that's off the beaten path, I would love to do it. The name of this channel is Spit Outside the Box, so we don't need to talk about exercise, to grow your butt and all the other things that are completely overdone. We can talk about exercise along the lines of other things that are way more fascinating, way more rich and abundant. Because, okay, this is the magazine I'm reading too. The Science of Exercise. It's so good. Younger, smarter, stronger. It's true. Exercise is underestimated. That's why magazines like this exist. It's like, this is kind of old. I think it's from 2018. Yeah, it's from July 2018. So good though. I'm always looking back at it too, especially as I read newer stuff. I still go back and I read this because it's so much here. But anyways, I'm hopping off, y'all. I want to do a live, probably like a lunch and learn style live every week. So hop on in the comments and let me know some other topics you want me to touch on, you want me to talk about. And even if you have another workout that you suggest, I think the last one I got was weights and step, or step and strength, which I like doing those. I don't know if y'all like them as much though. But again, just like so good to mix those modes of exercise and find different ways to get our brains to connect so we can be smarter, stronger, younger, all the damn time. All right, I'm hopping off. Happy Monday. This is one of our first lunch and learns. But obviously I need to hop on live more because I almost forgot how to do it. And it was all these new questions today. But anyways, I love you guys. Keep on working out and getting younger, smarter, and stronger, because guess what? Exercise is underestimated. But when you do exercise and people see you being smarter, younger, stronger, then they're faced with the fact that exercise is multifaceted. There's so many ways to improve your life with exercise. And when you know that, you get to live that. All right, I'm outie. Bye, y'all.